Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Namaskar, namaskar. Pranam. Happy. If everybody talks, I cannot hear, you know. Okay, Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Today is Ugadi day. Yes. Okay. New Year. Every day is a new year for us. So now we are in the 11th chapter. We have to go to Tirupati. So what does this chapter?
Sadhuram gets a fever.
Okay. What is the message for us that is there in the book? We are trying to understand as a devotee, as a spiritual aspirant, what are the messages that we get from reading this? Again, please think over, everybody. What is the message Papa gives us by narrating this? They walked more than 700 steps. They reached there. It was pretty cold. They were not allowed to stay inside. So they had to stay in a dharamshala. Sleep was out of question. Sadhuram found it extremely difficult, whereas Papa found joy in meditating and chanting of his name. Early morning they left. Before they left Tirupati, they went to Papanashini, had their bath, and then rushed back and got into the train for Kalahasti. Now, this is the textual information. What is the message? Endurance. Yes, then. What strong compassion? Compassion, really, we can't understand what you said.
If we are connected with God, we don't think of comforts.
If we think about God, there is no feeling of any comforts. Okay? Then,
Everything happens by God's will only. At all times, Ram's God kindness was there.
anything else? Anything? Anything else? Anything else? Yes. when we are on sadhana, we may try to act as prompted from within. Papa did not intend to go to Tirupati. That was the ajna of that Sadhu Ram. And then he straight away went to the railway station. No? Then finding a train waiting, he entered. A few minutes later, the train moved. Where was the train taking him? It was none of his concern to try to know this. Ram never errs, and a complete trust in him means full security and the best guidance. The train ran up to Katpadi station. Here Ram brought him in touch with the Sadhu Ram. To guide him, he promised to take him to Tirupati, in which direction the train was running. O Ram, thy plans are indeed always mysteriously worked out. So that means he did not intend to go to Tirupati. He is not bothered. He is ever under the guidance of Ram. So he was motivated to, prompted to take, straight away proceed to the railway station. One train was moving, he got into it, nobody obstructed him. That train took him to Katpadi. Another person comes and says, we can go in this train that goes to Tirupati, and that is how he reached Tirupati. His sadhana was purely remembering him. Remembering him. That was going on, no? Even when the doorkeeper, the watchman did not allow them to be inside in that extreme cold, both of them were prompted to go to the nearest Chautri, Dharmshala, where Papa continued with his sadhana. That is why early morning, there was no inclination in him to go to the temple at all. His purpose has been served. And one more subtle lesson. The moorti or the chosen deity in a temple, he is not confined within the framework of the idol. Balaji is everywhere. Balaji and Ram, there is no difference. So he was able to chant remember him throughout the night, and so he was satisfied. When we go to Tirupati, what happens? We have got a definite plan to have the darshan of the moorti of Balaji. So we make elaborate arrangements and we go there. Nowadays, our online booking, so many things are there. And we stand in the queue, and when our turn comes, we reach there. Probably for a minute or two, we remain there and then go. How much time do we spend on God-remembrance? This is something on which everyone has to think about it. Here there was no intention for him to go to Tirupati, but he did not waver when the Sadhu Ram took him from Katpadi, and not 1 or 2 steps, 700 steps. Even then, he did not feel disappointed, because to him, it was God-remembrance that was important, which he was able to do it by God's grace. So that is why early morning when the Sadhu Ram told him that we will leave this place immediately, and Papa suggested we will also go to Papanashini, we will have the bath there. And there he was blessed with the darshan of Ram in the form of Mother Nature, hills and mountains. Think about it. It is not belittling the importance of a moorti darshan, but at the same time, He is offering us a clarity, a message to all of us. Whenever you intend to go to a particular place for the darshan of a particular moorti, your intention is not to merely see. Your intention is to dwell as much as possible on God thought. When we do that, it does not matter whether we are before the idol or not. Because our purpose is to dwell on God-remembrance under some pretext. There have been many instances when we go to a darshan of a particular moorti, we may have to be in the queue for 5 hours, 6 hours, or 8 hours. And at times, suppose it is not possible for us, what we do is, we will do the namaskar on the entrance and then go back. Suppose we have got some urgent job. It happens so. So none of us need get disappointed or dejected because of that. What is important is to dwell more and more on the God thought under the pretext of a temple visit. And if he makes it possible for us to have the moorti's darshan, that is also okay. If that is not there, that is also okay. So this chapter is also worth going through 1 or 2 times. This is the message he gives us. Anybody in Papa's position will definitely get dejected, 700 steps is not humanly possible to reach. 700 steps, not 1 or 2. And when you go there, it is extreme cold. And you are not allowed to stay inside. So a lot of space for grumbling and complaining. But whereas what happened here? Swamiji, it is impossible to think of sleep for the night. The cold will not allow us a wink of sleep. So much the better, replied Ramdas. All the time can then be devoted to Ram Bhajan, the bhajan of that all-powerful and all-loving being. That is all right for you, remarked the Sadhu Ram. But I should suggest a move from this place as soon as the day breaks. One more night in this plight shall certainly stiffen us into sheer logs of wood. Receiving no reply from Ramdas, who was then engaged in the meditation of Ram, the Sadhu Ram laid himself down, twisted himself into the shape of figure 8. So, the severity of the cold, Not a word about the grumbling and complaint. So the purpose of a temple visit, that is also not there, but when God facilitates us to go to a particular temple, if suppose we concentrate more and more on remembering him through any means, that is more than enough. In Chidambaram, when somebody took him there, he was happy, Nothing is initiated by him. This is a very important point. Nothing is initiated by him. Therefore, there is no cause for grumbling or complaints. When you initiate something with a purpose, and if it doesn't get fulfilled, naturally you will be upset. But here it is not initiated at all. He was told that you can go there. It was not possible, okay. But he did make use of that circumstances for dwelling more and more on. the indwelling and all-pervading reality God. And in the, as somebody suggested, in the Papanasini also, in all directions, the top of the hill in all directions, the beautiful landscapes and the valleys that met the eyes were simply entrancing. Bath over, the Sadhuram hastened down the hill, followed by Ramdas, and before evening they reached the city below. Same evening, both boarded the train running northward. Anything else comes, think about it now. We are now trying to understand the theme between lines, not what had happened to Papa. That is a part of history. When we go to a temple, how do we make use of it? 99%, we will be discussing about so many things, we will be worried or anxious about our accommodation, our so many things. How much time we spend on God's thought? So that is how Papa brings it out. That is on the next day. That is on the next day. But on that particular day, when you have taken so much of strain to climb the 700 steps, those who have gone to Tirupati, they can see how steep it was. ശരി, that is okay. അത് கிடைக்காத வாழ்க்கை தான் இப்போ. And one thing we forget, do we bring in the dimension that he is the all-pervading reality? அப்படியே நாங்கள் போயிருக்க மாட்டோமே. So first we try to see the idol, Ishtadevata. Then as real spiritual aspirants or bhaktas, we try to see him everywhere as they are. அதில் பாலாஜி எங்கும் இருக்காருன்னு புரியணுமே. ஆமாம், பாலாஜியை பார்க்கறதுக்கு வேண்டி நான் போனேன். அப்போ எனக்கு தெரியறது பாலாஜி எங்கும் இருக்காருன்னு. அங்கேயும் இருக்கார், அங்கேயும் இருக்கார், எங்கும் இருக்கார் அப்படின்னு நமக்கு வரதா? அதாகும். அல்லட்டா அங்கே மட்டும்தான் இருக்கிறது என்ன ஒன்றுன்னா இறங்கிறத பற்றி எல்லாம் சொல்கிறேன், இறங்கிறத பற்றி இல்லை. பாலாஜி எங்கும் இருக்கார், எல்லாத்துலேயும் இருக்கார், அங்கும் இருக்கார். அது புரியறதுக்கு வேண்டி அங்கே போனோம். அது போகிறத நம்ம ப்ரே பண்ணுறோம். நீ இங்கே மட்டும் இல்லை, எல்லா இடத்துலையும் இருக்கான்னு என்னை புரிய வைக்கணுமே ப்ளீஸ். அதில் ஒன்றை பார்க்குறது நான் இங்கே வந்தால் மட்டும்தான் பெறுவேன். இங்கே போகிறதுக்குள்ளே நான் பாலாஜியை பார்த்து திரும்பியாச்சுன்னு சொல்லு. ஆமாம், அப்படி. ஆனால் பாலாஜி எங்கும் இருக்காருன்னு என் மனசில் வரணுமே. அப்போ எனக்கு எந்த விதமான நீ பார்த்தாலும் பார்க்கலைன்னாலும் விரோதம் இல்லை, பார்த்தாலும் சந்தோஷம், பார்க்கலைன்னாலும் விரோதம் இல்லை. தட் ஐ வில் நாட் கெட் அப்செட். அதாகும் பப்பாவோட மெசேஜ். எங்கும் இருக்கார், அங்கேயும் இருக்கார். ஹீ இஸ் ஆல்சோ தேர், ஹீ இஸ் எவ்ரிவேர். ஐ வாஸ் நாட் அவேர் ஆஃப் இட். ஸோ ஐ வாஸ் ப்ராம்ப்டட் டு கோ டு Tirupati. When I go there, my whole attempt is to, you are here, you are everywhere. Why don't you please make me aware of your presence everywhere so that if I am not in a position to see you in this form here, I will not get dejected or disappointed. And the very purpose of my coming here is to have your thought. I should be able to dwell on your thought wherever I am. Think about it. This applies to every Ishtadevata, not only to Balaji. For enabling us to make a beginning, for enabling us to concentrate upon a particular form, the various temples have been consecrated. So the moment we go, we have the darshan, we are happy. But when we come back, we don't see that the deity is the all-pervading reality. This is very important for us. If you go through any bhajan or any composition of any Mahatmas, though they bring out the name of the Ishtadevata, rest of the things you will see that they are talking about the all-pervading nature. Whether it is Tyaga Brahman, whether it is Purandradas, whether it is Namdev, whether it is Tukaram, whether it is Jnandev, wherever we go, Mirabai, because the all-pervading reality is made known to me through a symbol, a form. And Papa was, right from the beginning, he was clear about it. So going to a temple gives him joy. Not getting the darshan is also okay for him. Otherwise, people will definitely stay there, It is not to belittle the importance of a temple there. But he was very much satisfied because throughout the night he was dwelling on God thought only, which is the purpose of a temple visit. A very broad idea Papa is pumping into us. We have shared with you that when once a group of people invited Pujya Swamiji to a nearby temple, we all went with him. At that time, when he was asked to say a few words, he said, the moment somebody calls you, or the moment you get an inner prompting to visit your nearby temple, on that day, the moment you step out of your house, till you get back, you keep chanting the name. You don't discuss about the politics, discuss about the social things, discuss about the personal relationship. You let your mind be concentrated only on God thought by chanting His name, so that by the time you present yourself before the deity, you will derive the fullest benefit of that temple visit. Because you have been mentally associating. Suppose there is Lord Krishna's temple. You are thinking about Krishna. You are thinking about the various deeds of Krishna, various acts of Krishna avatar. And by the time when you reach there before the idol of Krishna, your mind is fully occupied by Krishna thought. And then after paying our respects, taking the tirtha or prasad, when you come back, try to retain as much as possible till you reach home. This was the message given to us by Pujya Swamiji. Exactly the same thing now. It doesn't happen in our case. Suppose we are going by train, it is not that when we get into it, we will be thinking about Balaji or deity. We will be discussing about so many things, Okay, right from the moment you get up at Tirupati station, are we in a position to do that? No. But this is the message he gives. Hereafter, when we go, we will try this. As much as possible, we will try to dwell on that. Though not to the extent Papa could do, we will try to do in our own way, whatever is possible. That means maximum time dwelling on God thought. That is the message. So that we don't feel elated when we are before the idle, nor we get dejected if we are not in a position to. Because the purpose of going is to dwell on him. Because he is not only there, he is everywhere. This is the subtle point, that is there. When we dive deep into the episode, otherwise anybody will say that having gone up to this stage, 700 steps, why should you become impatient? You have your bath and have the darshan and come back. So that is not the purpose. Here the purpose is to dwell on his name. All the time can then be devoted to Ram Bhajan, the bhajan of that all-powerful and all-loving being. So Sadhu Ram says, that is all right for you. Sleep is out of question. Poor friend Ram was surely testing him, all for his good and good alone. The night passed. Early morning, when the day was breaking, the shivering sadhu proposed to climb down the hill. So here also he says the Ram was testing him, bringing them all the way and then denying. Only Papa can make use of such opportunities. No doubt about it, because of his tapasya. And because he had a clarity, the purpose of going to a temple. Having the darshan of the deity is all right. Not having the darshan is also all right for him. Anything else? From there we move to the 12th chapter. God is everywhere. What is the subtle message for us? Yes. Then. Yes. Then. Now you. In all of us there is a Sadhu Ram and a witness consciousness. Okay.
Once when Satsang Swami came to Bombay, myself and Prema went to see him at the house. We just missed him narrowly. Finally, we traced him at the airport. We could not meet him because he was already got a security line. But we cried and prayed to Swami himself, Swami darshan karpada irukku. Then God facilitated to have the darshan, he came out and so what we did was wrong there. And we go to Papa Madu, because காட்டாக்கி வந்துட்டாரு. ஓகே பட் நாங்கள் சமைக்கிறதுக்காக கொஞ்சம் ட்ரை பண்ணி சமைக்க பார்த்துட்டு வந்தோம். இப்போ நாங்கள் பண்ண தப்பாகுது.
நம்ம தப்போ ശരിയോ എന്ത് ആലോചിക്കണം. അത് സമയത്ത് എന്നെ തോന്നിയത് ചേരോ. നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ സ്വാമിജിയെ பார்க்கறது സ്വാமிജിயோட அந்த பர்சனல் ஃபார்முக்குள்ள அட்டாச்மெண்ட் ஆகும். இங்கே வந்து பகவானோட தாட் ஆகும். இப்போ முடிஞ்சு வேணால் நமக்கு கிடைச்சா பார்ப்போம், இல்லைன்னா இட்ஸ் ஆல் ரைட். സ്വാമിജിയെ പറ്റി തിങ്ക് பண்ணிட்டு போமே, அதுதானே நம்மளுடைய கெயின். അല്ലെങ്കിൽ அந்த ஃபார்மை பார்க்கறது அல்ல ശരിക്കും கெயின் சொல்லாகி சொல்லி தரார். ஆமாம், ஃபார்மை பார்த்தாலும் நல்லது தான், நாம் பார்க்கலைன்னாலும் ஓகே. முக்கியம் ശരിയും തപ്പൊന്നും கிடையாது ഒന്നില്ലേ. അത് നമുക്കെല്ലാം പഠിപ്പിக்கிறதுக்கு വേണ്ടി ഒരു അനുഭവം തറത് തന്നെ. ஆமாம், இனிஷியலாக நமக்கு ஃபார்மை பார்க்கறது தான் சந்தோஷம். പിന്നെ 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 അതിൽ നിന്ന് മാറണം. அதுதானே ஃபார்ம் வந்தது. இனிஷியலாக நம்மளுக்கு ஃபார்மை பார்க்கறது தான் சந்தோஷம் வரும். அதுக்கு வேண்டி கஷ்டப்பட்டு தான் போவோம். அதுக்கு வேண்டி நிறைய தியாகம் அனுபவிப்போம், நிறைய பைசா அனுபவிப்போம். கொஞ்ச நாள் கழிஞ்சிட்டு அது எங்கும் இருக்கப்பட்ட இது தானே, எங்கும் பரபிரம்மம் அம்மா என்ற சொன்ன மாதிரி எங்கும் தானே இருக்கார் அவர். முடிஞ்சால் நமக்கு சாதிச்சா அந்த ரூபத்திலையும் போய் பார்க்கிறோம். எத்தனையோ பக்தமாரே அவர் அந்த ரூபத்தில் வந்து ரட்சப்படுத்தியிருக்கார். எத்தனையோ பக்தமாருக்கு சந்தோஷம் கொடுத்துருக்கார். அந்த ரூபத்துக்கும் ஒரு விலை உண்டு. அது கிடைச்சா எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம், கிடைக்கலையா அதுவும் ஒரு விஷயம் தான் அப்படின்னு. No, he said on one occasion, Puja Swamiji was coming and going and he went to the airport. By the time he saw Swamiji got into the security AC. So whether what we have done is right or wrong, it is not a question of right or wrong. No doubt everybody gets charged or they feel highly pleased when they have the darshan of the moorti to whom they are running, or any form of guru. But here Papa teaches us the form is all right. If you get the darshan, that is okay. If you don't get the darshan, that is also okay. Purpose is to maintain our constant God-remembrance, and that God is there everywhere, not only in that moorti. But when you see the moorti, we can say, through that form you have inspired many, many bhaktas. You have given them salvation to many, many bhaktas. So I would like to have the darshan also. If you don't, okay, that is also okay for me. It's a test given to me. That means we are not carried away, no? We don't get dejected or diffused just because we were denied. Many, many such things happen in all leading temples. You go with so many programs and you are not in a position to get the darshan. So from there we move to this area, Kalahasti. Here the subtle message. The subtle message, we can say, the ticket inspector tells him, they say God is everywhere, then where is the fun of your knocking about in search of him, while he is at the very place from which you started on the quest, as you say. Immediately he answers, Papa answers, right, brother, God is everywhere. But he wants to have this fact actually proved by going to all places and realizing his presence everywhere. This is a very important statement. Very important clue for all of us. The whole purpose of inquest of God is this. That means we don't have to go anywhere else. But why are we prompted to go? Otherwise, we do not get grounded. So he wants that to be proved. That he wants to have this fact actually proved by going to all places and realizing his presence everywhere. Even Tirupati episode also we can connect up. So throughout Papa's sadhana, is to dwell on God remembrance. That is why he has no destination. Whenever anybody asks him to go, he goes. He has no specific destination, specific place to reach. Because his only involvement is to dwell on God remembrance. At all times and in all places. In Bhagavad Gita, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. In all places and at all times, remember me and fight the battle of life. Anusmaranam, not even smaranam, anusmaranam, constant thinking. So that is what Papa is now exhibiting before us, demonstrating before us. That is why he had no specific destination to reach, no specific program to go through. Yes. Otherwise, you and I will have a specific destination, when we go out. Specific destination with a specific purpose. Here there is no specific destination at all. Wherever God provides him through a Sadhu Ram, he is taken. So that has been beautifully brought out here in this answer to the ticket inspector. God made the ticket inspector to tell him one of the most important points. They say God is everywhere, then where is the fun in of your knocking about in search of him? While he is at the very place from which you started on the quest. A very, very pertinent point. When God is all-pervading, why should we unnecessarily move from place to place? So here right brother, God is everywhere. But he wants to have this fact actually proved by going to all places and realizing his presence everywhere. We are now praying to Papa now. Wherever for some domestic purpose or because of our professional duties, when you make us to go, make us to feel that we are in quest of God. We miss that fact. You are facilitating us to go to one place. Probably it may be for a function, for a marriage, for a temple visit, for some purpose, But actually it is for remembering you. Why don't you please? You have given me that job. You are seated in the temple. You are arranging a social function. So I can connect up you. I can connect up you with everything, so that I will be dwelling on your thought. I spend a lot of time discussing with the friends on various aspects, but not this. Today you make us realize that everywhere we are going there only to see him. I should not see him only in a temple or in my puja room. I should be able to remember you wherever I am. For whatever, apparently it may be for some other purpose, but ultimately it is for realizing you, to remember you. Why don't you please make me think on those lines whenever you make me to leave one place, whenever you make me to travel. And you and I also, have some experience how friendly the co-traveler becomes, how trusting he becomes, how we become one as one family, how they assist us or we assist them. So many incidents. One day we were traveling from some place to ashram. We had reached Nileshwaram. The person who was traveling with us, he was the Vice Chancellor of Central University here. He was in our same compartment. So as soon as the train reached, he took all his luggage, everything, he and Mrs. both got down. The train stops there only for 2 minutes. The train was moving. Suddenly the person who, on those days, the Kambli, bed sheets are given for sleeper passengers. So he came there to fold it everyone. Suddenly he saw the mobile there. So he said, who got down now? Then we told him the person. He immediately went out, and then by the time the train has moved, so he gave it to some other passenger who was saying, the owner is coming. Connected him. We still remember, what had happened 3-4 years back. The gesture of that, it was a reminder to us. It is not the assistant giving the mobile that matters. It is an incident through which we saw the me to be expressed by that assistant, and how the other man acknowledged. So there are umpteen, we can personally feel, he has done a good job, we can be grateful to him. But suppose when we bring the God dimension, he is teaching us through that assistant that you should become sensitive to the demands of the people in and around you. You should be dutiful. That is how, you can extend yourself. Like that, every incident can be connected to God thought. And here one more dialogue. You can speak English, educated as you are, you cannot travel without a ticket. Educated you are. So according to the ticket examiner, a person who is educated can as well earn when he undertakes, He cannot travel without a ticket. So Papa did not answer this. Immediately he got down, that's all. The Sadhuram and he accordingly got down at the bidding of the inspector. It is all Ram's will. Normally, we will react, It is true, I may be able to handle English. I may be able to talk to you in English, but that doesn't mean that I carry money. You can check up, I don't carry money at all. No such argument. Submission to his will. If he wants us to take forward, he will take forward. If he doesn't want, that's okay. That's why we said, there is no fixed target, no fixed place for him to go. You just imagine that particular point. Throughout this inquest of God, right from day one, Papa did not name a destination to reach. His only purpose, normally our purpose when we travel, to reach the destination. Here he has no destination to reach. Here the only purpose is to remember him. Bah. That is why he is not upset also. He doesn't justify, he submits. Because he has no target to be reached, no goal to be scaled. And when he said so, well then, if you are discovering God wherever you go, you must be seeing him here on this spot where you stand. That was the real test. We all say, generally, general statement will be there. But here the ticket inspector wanted a specific answer. If you are discovering God everywhere you go, you must be seeing him here on this spot where you stand. Certainly, brother, he is here at the very place where we stand. Where? No? Here. And that emphatic statement patterned on the broad chest of the inspector himself, in the tall figure standing in front, that is in yourself. Ramdas clearly sees God who is everywhere. That for a time the inspector looked confused. Then he broke into a hearty fit of laughter, opening the door of the compartment from which he had asked the sadhus to get down. He requested them to get in again, and they did so, followed by him. He sat in the train with the sadhus for some time. I cannot disturb you, friends. I wish you all success in your quest of God. With these words, he left the carriage. The train rolled. O Ram, thy name be glorified. The test over, Ram departed, no? The test was necessary because that was the purpose for which he started. Not to go to any particular place, to have the vision of him everywhere, in everything. So when it was pointed out, specifically you mentioned, and when it was answered, it was not merely an answer for the question. It was the actualization of his experience. Because the body language also must be there, when he patted on his chest. So the test was over, he was released. You carry on, I cannot disturb you, friends, in your quest. So when we go through this, two things. One is that we become aware that Papa has no definite target to be reached. His purpose was to hold on to God-remembrance. And since there is no specific area to be reached, specific place to be reached, everywhere he was trying to dwell on God-remembrance. So when a test was given in the form of the ticket inspector, his conviction came out in the form of assertion, and that really, so that means in the test he has passed. So Ram, in the form of the inspector, he came back and allowed them to travel. So to take everything as a test and to dwell on God-remembrance without any specific target, so many dimensions are packed in this small chapter. This would not have come to us when we were reading previously. No specific area to be reached. no specific purpose of traveling. The only purpose is to know that he is everywhere, all-pervading. Anything else strikes to anybody? Ah. Why that sound? Ah. 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 Sherry.
People go for pilgrimage now. Is that the same?
1 minute, somebody is telling here.
People go for pilgrimage now. Is that the same thing they are trying to do? What?
Pilgrims, people will go to pilgrims from here.
Is pilgrimage what was Papa was doing what is it saying?
Papa was doing also is the same. Like people go to
What is the point?
No. Going for pilgrimage
Ah.
and what you mentioned now,
Ah.
is that same purpose?
Is the same purpose to see God everywhere? Is that the purpose? People go
See, you and I, when we plan to go, we have got a specific place to go, a specific purpose to go. Here, there is no specific place, because God is everywhere. To him, only to always remember that he is everywhere. No specific place. That is why if you say you come along with Papa, he will come with you. Suppose I tell him you come along with, he comes with me. He has no specific place, because God is everywhere. He wants that to be strengthened in him, that's all. That was the only one. That is the idea he is giving. Ah. Hari Om. Ah. Okay. Ah, pranam. Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Ah. Ah. Come on. Yeah. No, so far we have been taught by our experience that we have not reached anywhere, in spiritual journey. So while we are on spiritual journey, if we can try to understand this, it will help us a lot. It was not when Vittal Rao was traveling, when Swami Ramdas was traveling. And that means he was very clear, there is no destination to be reached, there is no outward purpose. The only purpose is to remain ever in God thought and try to see Him everywhere, that's all. That was if at all you can call it as a purpose, that was the purpose. We cannot compare that to whatever we are doing it in the other way. You follow me? So when we are on a spiritual journey, we should be very, very clear about this, that we want to realize His presence here and everywhere. That is the only purpose for which we are on this yatra. This dimension has not come to us, now it has come to us. That is, with that background, when we go through, we find that he doesn't give the itinerary. Tomorrow I have to go to this place, day after tomorrow I have to go to this place, day after tomorrow I have to go to this. Normally we make a big itinerary, na? Here it is no such thing. Because to him, everywhere is he. So the only purpose is to remember him, to see him, to feel his presence everywhere. Both in animate and inanimate, both in persons and objects, both in situations. So that was the only purpose, if at all we call it as a purpose. So he was very clear about it. So when we undertake with such a background, then this will be helpful for us. Suppose when you want to come to ashram, that there is a different purpose. We cannot confuse that with this. When you are having with a definite purpose, go along with it. But if you are really going on a spiritual journey, and if you are very clear that I want to realize His presence not only here and everywhere. So first of all, I should be able to realize Him there. So the emphasis will be on that. Wherever we go, whatever we talk, we will try to remember Him as much as possible and somehow put ourselves on the wheel of God-remembrance. There may be some breaks. When I keep on practicing it, one day He may prompt us, you take a yatra. At that time, without any planning, without any what do you call it? Definite idea about where we will stay, where we will go, then automatically God provides everything. Otherwise, we cannot extend the same thing to wherever we go. Yeah. So these 2 chapters, 11th and 12th, please go through it again and again and again. Wonderful, wonderful theories, wonderful themes are contained therein. Every chapter when we go through, we are trying to understand what is the message for us. Let us not get stuck with what had happened to Papa. What is the hidden message? So that we will be able to derive the maximum benefit out of it. We may not be able to derive the fullest benefit. At least some percentage of benefit from this, which might help us in our journey towards Him. This should be very, very clear. Not an academic exercise, not getting stuck with what Papa did or Papa talked, but what is the message for me in my move towards Him. This should be very, very clear. With that background, on Monday we will meet again. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om